Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. Um, I have been working on this video for a while. I wanted to make sure I got all the facts I needed to get to bring you the ADHD epidemic in the US. That's what we're talking about today. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Dislike the video. I don't give a shit. We're all about trying to get that extra engagement right now because this video, well, not this video, this channel may not be here tomorrow because I'm about to piss off every mentally ill Karen on the internet. So here we go. Firstly, first point, stop treating ADHD like it's schizophrenia. Stop treating ADHD like it's fucking cancer. And it's completely debilitating to your life. It's not. ADHD is not that serious a condition, nor is it that serious a disorder. So you need to stop. There are actual debilitating disorders out there and diseases and illnesses that are far and away incurable. And that's the same thing with ADHD. ADHD doesn't have a cure either. It is something that gets a band-aid by medication. It gets a band-aid by people's lifestyles. So people will always tend to run away from dealing with their ADHD symptoms. And then they wonder why it's taken over their life. It's taken over their life because you didn't have the discipline to look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're the problem. I've said this before. You're the fucking problem. You need to start calling yourself a piece of shit, and you need to start fucking doing that every single fucking morning. Every morning you wake up, you just look in that mirror and you say, wow, I'm such a fucking piece of shit. I'm such an asshole, dude. I'm such a fucking cunt. So, point number one, you have to figure out how accurate is it that somebody can be diagnosed with ADHD? What is the criteria? Well, the problem with that is the criteria for somebody with ADHD is so insanely broad that I've seen people justifying everything from porn addiction, alcoholism, interrupting people in the middle of conversation, being clumsy. These are just a few of the things. Being a couch potato, literally. And that does a massive disservice to the people who have ADHD. They have learned how to manage it and work it into their everyday life. So that is truly the people that I'm making this video for. It's about time that we start rooting out all of these fucking bad actors and we get them off the fucking internet. And we actually let the people with ADHD who really have it, who actually are diagnosed properly, be able to speak out about their actual challenges and struggles, because there are actual challenges and struggles to this disorder. So, let's talk about overdiagnosis. 1 million children have been misdiagnosed with ADHD. This started in kindergarten. Kindergarten. They don't even know all the fucking numbers that they need to know to do basic math yet. And you're already diagnosing them with a mental health condition. This is more often than not probably due to either retarded parents who don't know how to raise a child, and instead of going through the steps of just letting them feel it out and then going through like natural like ways to alter behavior, right? It's like a fucking dog. A dog will do the same thing. If you have a dog and you don't exercise it, you don't train it, you're going to come home and you're going to have your fucking cushions with no stuffing in it, the fucking end of your wooden table is completely chewed through, right? That dog is going to find stuff to do, right? I feel like this is exactly what's happening. We are in the age of lazy parenting. So they're not understanding why their kids have no attention span. And to a degree, I do think that the bump of technology has not help this at all, but um, I am 28 years old. I am technically Gen Z. I'm like the very, 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 very beginning of Gen Z, right? Well, that depends. That depends on like, because I know some people, they like shift the years a little bit on like what is a millennial and what is Gen Z. But I would consider myself Gen Z. Um, but I was raised like a fucking Gen X, right? My dad and my mom were both very, very, very old school. My whole family is very old school. Like, I was raised on the fucking Beatles, on ZZ Top, on fucking, God damn it, what the fuck is his name? Son of a bitch, dude. Elvis Presley. So, you know, I drank from the garden hose. I didn't come back till the fucking street lights were on. You know, I had more bumps and scrapes on my body every single day than most fucking people in Gen Z have had their whole life. So we are not the same, right? That's why I don't really consider myself a Gen Z or millennial, really, because like I'm kind of like I'm in that like weird range. If you're born, I would say from like 96 to 2000. 96 to 2000, I think, is a weird time frame where there was like an amalgamation of people who just weren't like, they weren't raised the way that every generation wants to paint them as. So they don't really belong anywhere. I would call it the chameleon generation, to be honest. Just a really like niche generation in the middle who have like traits of all sides, right? In this never-ending generational war that's been going on. And so what would I think would be the proper age to diagnose somebody with ADHD? I think you have to give them up through adolescence, I think. I could see 12 to 15. I think age 12 to age 15 is a good way to, like, you've seen how they've changed in reacted to things and what habits they have over a good course of time, right? You've had 10 years, 12 years with your child, and hopefully you've been in their life every day. So you should be able to pick up on certain behavioral patterns, right? And that'll give you a strong lenience toward, okay, they clearly have an issue. They need to be raised this way, or clearly I'm the problem. I need to be doing better, right? Because we are in the age of lazy parenting. We are in the age of electronic parenting, where majority of the life lessons people are getting are from tablets, smartphones, smart TVs, and the parents are not nearly as involved as they used to be. So now, let's move on to the real kicker of the overdiagnosis topic. This is a crazy statistic, by the way. 90% of adults that test positive for ADHD symptoms turn out to not have the disorder. Are you fucking kidding me? 90%? That's fucking insane. So stay tuned to the end of the video, because I am going to take an actual ADHD test online, and we are going to see if I actually have ADHD. So that's going to be exciting. However, getting back to this statistic, that's fucking insane. 90%? I don't even know a basketball player that has shot worse than a 10 to 90 ratio out of 100. Are you fucking serious? It's fucking insane. How? So, like, clearly, with that statistic alone, there's a very serious problem with ADHD, and you see it everywhere. It's especially popular on TikTok. That's a huge one. I mean, I see content everywhere. Now, I am starting to see content that is aligned with what I am telling you here, where the people who truly have the disorder are fighting back, and they're tired of everybody just using it as some hashtag social media. Oh my God, woe is me, guys. I was diagnosed with ADHD. So, yeah, people are getting sick of that shit. Anyway, so obviously, medical advice. Double check the symptoms, always challenge the narrative, right? It doesn't make sense for everybody to all of a sudden have ADHD out of fucking nowhere. So, let's talk about the reward structure around ADHD. The reward structure, I believe, begins with social media. Social media trends will always push anything towards a certain direction, even if that certain direction leads to misleading information. Social media trends. We're going to start off with a banger. 4.3 billion with a B, billion views on TikTok alone for the hashtag ADHD. Now, TikTok is not really a platform that has been very good for getting paid. So the monetary side of it is not as immense as you would probably imagine. However, it's definitely still there. The big thing with this is that TikTok is so incredibly addictive that people will spread this around like wildfire. So, if just on TikTok there's 4.3 billion views on just the hashtag ADHD, this is not including any other mental health disorder, this is just ADHD. And get this, in early 2025, the trend has grown to 11.4 billion also just on TikTok alone. Now, as I am a professional, I've done my due diligence, and I've looked up all the other platforms. And the only other platform that I could find a actual physical number for was Instagram. And on Instagram, they have 3.9 million hashtag ADHD posts. Now, I couldn't find a metric towards like what the average view count is of these posts or anything like that. That is not a publicly available metric for me to find. But that's still absolutely fucking insane. Now, let's talk about the mental health crisis in the US, because this is mainly what this video is aiming at, right? We're focused on the US and what the hell is going on here and why everybody's throwing around ADHD like a buzzword. So, the estimated US decline on any sort of like search browser, whatever you can use to find this information on, the estimated decline of mental health, or the beginning of the so-called mental health crisis in the US, was in 2011. So, I suppose I should introduce myself now. My name is Jerry. I am the creator of the Bearded Bear 9000 YouTube channel. And I was diagnosed with ADHD in 2009, 2 years before the estimated beginning of the mental health crisis. Estimated beginning, this is completely approximate because you can't give it a definitive time frame or number, due to the fact that a lot of medical information is not readily available with the HIPAA Act and all this stuff. So, also, a little bit about me. I have 2 backgrounds in psychology, both wildlife and human psychology, obviously. But that, for the human part, it is a minor. because it was just kind of like elective courses that I could take on top of going for my licensed practical nurse, of which I have spent a lot of time in the medical side of the industry. And I can pretty much tell you that it never lives up to what you want it to be, right? Going into it, I don't know, it's a weird balance, right? Because like there's a lot of good that it does, but there's definitely a lot that I disagree with on ultimately why I decided to move away from it. So due to that, I kind of just separated myself from it, and now I'm on the outside looking in, and now I am at the point to where I'm like, okay, hold up. Somebody's got to tell the fucking truth if nobody's going to tell the fucking truth. So after I've started seeing all of these crazy things getting justified online, using ADHD as this blanket umbrella to essentially justify poor life choices and bad lifestyle choices, I decided that it's time to make this video. So, let's go to a conclusionary statement. What do you think is going on? Do you think it's a medical industry farce backed by social media creating a reward structure around ADHD? Now, the reason I raised you this question is because I didn't even plan on this. I literally found all of this just before I started recording the video. I'm going to turn your attention to YouTube for a second. Most people are familiar with the conversion rate for views on YouTube. So I decided I'm going to look up some of the most popular channels on YouTube. And I found this. A video titled ADD/ADHD, What Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, with a question mark, is by the channel Understood. That video alone has 11 million views on YouTube. Another video, I Found Out I Have ADHD by Jaden Animations, has 15 million views. So already we are at 26 million views in just 2 videos on the topic of ADHD. So if there was anything to further both a monetary incentive and also millions of views and social media presence, YouTube is the place. Another video titled, Tell Me You Have ADHD Without Telling Me You Have ADHD, The Signs Everyone Missed Growing Up. And this is some sort of like, it seems like some sort of like diagnosis type video where people can, oh, hey, I relate to that. Oh, I relate to that. Oh, I probably have ADHD, which is probably factoring into that 90 percentile because they convince themselves they have these issues, and then they go and take the test and they mark down that they have these issues. So that video has 3.5 million views, so not that much, but here we go with a dedicated channel to the topic of ADHD, like ADHD World and How to ADHD. Have a total channel views reaching into the hundreds of millions. For example, one source notes that ADHD World channel alone has over 276 million views. So that's an insane monetary incentive on top of the massive view count. So if that's not evidence of both a monetary and social media backing on a trend that is very detrimental to people who want to convince themselves that they have a disorder, that would be it.